Number 18. Codex amulets. When we think of amulets, we usually imagine small charms or trinkets worn for protection against evil spirits or bad luck. For the Aztecs, however, amulets were sometimes in the form of books. They would fold paper into tiny booklets and inscribe them with protective symbols to ward off evil. These small books, known as Codex amulets, have survived for centuries and offer us a unique glimpse into the religious beliefs of the Aztec people. But what exactly are these strange little books? What symbols were inscribed on them, and how did they work as protective talismans? Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the Codex amulets, sacred books that once served as shields against evil spirits. Before we get into the specifics of the Codex amulets, it's important to understand the religious context in which they were used. The Aztecs believed that the world was inhabited by both good and evil spirits, some of which could bring misfortune upon humans. These evil spirits could cause illness, bad luck, and even death. As a result, the Aztecs developed various ways to protect themselves and their loved ones from harm. One such method was the use of amulets. Amulets are objects that are believed to have protective powers and can ward off evil spirits or bad luck. They come in all shapes and sizes and can be made from a variety of materials, including stone, wood, metal, and even human body parts. In the case of the Aztecs, they often took the form of small folded books known as Codex amulets. The term Codex amulet was first used by the Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés in his letters describing his adventures in Mexico. He noted that the natives carried around small books which they believed could cure illnesses and protect them from evil spirits. However, the Aztecs had been making these amulets long before the Spanish arrived. The Codex amulets were typically made from deerskin or agave fiber paper, which was very fragile. The pages were folded together to form a booklet and then inscribed with protective symbols and prayers using a type of black Aztec ink. The exact contents of these books varied, but they generally included charms and spells designed to ward off evil spirits and protect the wearer from harm. Some of the common symbols and images found on Codex amulets include: Number 1. Jaguars. Jaguars were seen as powerful and fierce animals that could protect their owners from danger. Jaguar imagery may represent strength, courage, and invincibility. Number 2. Eagles and other birds. Eagles were associated with the sun god and symbolized power and freedom. Other birds, such as the hummingbird and the owl, were also popular motifs, and each had its own unique meaning and significance. 3. Rain and water. Rain and water were essential to life in Mesoamerica and were often seen as sacred. Depictions of rain and water may symbolize fertility, growth, and purification. Number 4. Precious stones and minerals. Precious stones and minerals, such as obsidian, turquoise, and jade, were highly valued by the Aztecs and were often used in religious ceremonies. These materials may have been used in amulets to represent wealth, power, and the gods. No. 5. Human skulls. Human skulls were a prominent feature in Aztec art and culture and were often used as a symbol of death and the afterlife. However, they were not always used in a negative context and could also represent the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. 6. The Aztec calendar stone. The Aztec calendar stone was an important symbol of the Aztec Empire and represented the cyclical nature of time. It is possible that this image was used in amulets to invoke the blessings of the gods associated with the calendar. 7. Cihuacotl. The Cihuacotl was a mythical creature that was part snake and part woman. It was associated with the goddess of the moon and was seen as a symbol of fertility and motherhood. Number 8. Tlaloc. Tlaloc was the Aztec god of rain and fertility and was one of the most important deities in their religion. Images of Tlaloc may have been used in amulets to invoke his blessings for rain and fertility. In addition to these symbols, the Codex amulets also contained prayers and incantations that were meant to be spoken by the wearer when calling upon the protection of the gods. These prayers and incantations were often written in Nahuatl, the language of the Aztecs, and were too complex to translate into English. While the Codex amulets were primarily used for protection, they were also sometimes used for healing purposes. In Aztec culture, illness was often seen as a punishment from the gods for wrongdoing, and the Codex amulets were believed to have the power to heal both physical and spiritual ailments. One example of a healing amulet is the so-called pectoral from Tres Apotes, which contains a prayer to Tlaloc for the health of a young boy. These small books were typically carried on the person at all times, and were often worn around the neck as a necklace or hung from clothing. They were also sometimes placed in homes or businesses to protect the occupants from harm. While the Codex amulets were used for a variety of purposes, they were ultimately all about protecting the wearer from evil spirits and bad luck. The Aztecs believed that by carrying a small book filled with protective symbols and prayers, they could keep themselves and their loved ones safe from the dangers of the world. Today, the Codex amulets serve as a reminder of the rich religious traditions of the Aztec people. There are currently over 200 Codex amulets that have survived from pre-Hispanic Mexico, although it is likely that many more were destroyed during the Spanish conquest. These artifacts are now kept in museums and private collections around the world and are treasured for their unique historical and cultural significance. What do you guys think of these mysterious ancient amulets? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. We've covered quite a few fascinating topics here already, from ancient Rome to Egyptian mummies and everything in between. So there's sure to be something for everyone to enjoy. Here's another video you might like. Ancient ritual grounds where demons are summoned. Now let's take a look at what other interesting facts we can find about the Codex amulets. Despite their small size, these amulets are incredibly intricate and detailed, showing the skill and craftsmanship of the Aztec people. Each page is meticulously decorated with images and text, and the materials used are often surprisingly durable considering their age. One of the most famous Codex amulets is the so-called Borgia amulet, which is currently housed in the British Museum. This particular amulet is notable for its size and the complexity of its design. It is made from a single sheet of bark paper that has been folded into a rectangular shape and is decorated with images of rain, jaguars, and other creatures. The amulet is also inscribed with a number of prayers and incantations that were meant to be spoken by the wearer. Despite their effectiveness as protective talismans, the Codex amulets were not foolproof, and there were still instances of Aztec nobles being harmed or killed. Even the Spanish conquistadors carried Codex amulets with them into battle, believing that they could protect them from Aztec weapons and magic. In one famous incident, Cortés himself was nearly killed by Aztec warriors, despite wearing an amulet that was supposedly meant to protect him. In the end, it was the Spanish conquistadors who proved to be more powerful than the Codex amulets. They were able to defeat the Aztecs and claim their land, in part due to their superior weapons and tactics. However, the Codex amulets continued to be used by the indigenous people of Mexico for many years after the Spanish conquest. In fact, some of them are still used today. In modern times, Codex amulets have become a popular tourist souvenir in Mexico and are often sold in markets and shops throughout the country. Some people believe that these amulets can bring them good luck or protect them from harm, while others simply appreciate them as unique pieces of Mexican folk art. Whether you believe in their protective powers or not, the Codex amulets are undoubtedly fascinating artifacts that offer us a glimpse into the rich cultural heritage of Mexico. They are a testament to the skill and creativity of the Aztec people and continue to capture the imagination of people around the world. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about ancient civilizations, make sure to stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.